Роберт Искандерович Нигматуллин, академик Российской академии наук, директор Института океанологии имени Ширшова Российской академии наук.
Interesting and engaging presentation. The floor is now given to our guest from Brazil. We have the BRICS. B stands for Brazil in the BRICS. Professor Alexis Dantas, professor of Rio de Janeiro University. You have the floor.
Well, dear colleagues, after the crisis, and I mean not this recent crisis, I'm talking about the crisis since the 70s, and especially after the 90s. I don't need this. I don't need the presentation. After that crisis, so we have to rethink at least two vectors of issues. One, we could see clearly that the financial liberalization process increases financial fragility. That is, the impact on a fragile banking sector is weaker where the institutional environment is strong. One could observe that the case of US and the euro, and in the opposite, in Brazil, the impact was very weak, and one of the main reasons for this condition was the regulation of banking system we have. It's not only a problem of create a functional regulation framework, but to control strictly capital flows. We have to think about policies to attract desirable flows to some sectors, of course, and hamper bad capital flows. Short-run operations, for instance, with taxes and similar mechanisms. Two, to combat financial crisis with austerity is ineffective, as the European case showed us, despite of the insistence of German authorities. The recession battered the budget, driving down tax revenues in a vicious circle, increasing the total debt as well. This is the main problem we can see. Well, of course, we have many other issues to think about after the crisis, but I think these two are enough for this speech. In this sense, one can observe that the government do have an important role in terms of coordination, regulation, and mainly driving development, especially in the case of BRICS and other similar countries. I'll speak about the Brazilian case, because in Brazil we began to do that, the different kind of the role for the government after Lula's government, combining economic policy with social policy. Even keeping the basis of the economic policy, like the inflation target and something like this, Lula could change a lot the results in terms of income distribution in Brazil. What's different after Lula? Mainly, we could see 3 points. A broad income transfer program. 2, a systematic growth of the minimum wage in real terms. And after that, we could increase a lot the public investment in the financing role of the bank, our National Development Bank in Brazil. There are 3 main vectors of this change in our policy. The results of this change in the policy is the the inflection of the GDP growth, we can see after 2002 especially, because of this creation of internal demand, domestic demand, because of the income transfer programs, and because of the minimum wage in Brazil. And in this table, in this graphic, you can see that the income of the richer people are lower now than it was in the beginning of the Lula's government. So we could improve our income distribution in Brazil. One of the main results of this change in the Brazilian economic policy is the decreasing of the unemployment rate. Now in Brazil, as I told you yesterday in my panel, we have almost a situation of full employment, which is good for us because, well, it's good for the wealth, but it's a problem to grow, to continue growing with this model. We will see this after. This is the curve of the extreme poverty in Brazil. So you can see that it's diminishing a lot, and we are expecting to eliminate the extreme poverty in Brazil until the end of this year. It's a promise of the government, and we can see that it could happen. This is the income distribution in Brazil. You can see that as the minimum wage grows, the income distribution in Brazil gets better. So it's a good result of the Brazilian economic policy, as you can see. And just to finish my presentation, we have problems because good things are good things, but we still have many bad things to deal in Brazil, and I think it's a problem we can observe in many other countries with similar structure like in Brazil. First of all, we still combine a high real interest rate, which overvalued exchange rate. It's a problem for the exports because we are very dependent now of the export of commodities. We still export manufactured goods, but more and more, especially because of China, we are exporting lots of commodities, especially mining and food. That's a problem for the response of the industrial sector, of course. I can add as well another problem. We still have to think about education and healthcare. It's a problem in Brazil. Well, to eliminate the poverty is a priority, but now you have to think about how to grow or continue growing again more and more. So we have to think serious about education and higher education and the healthcare. And more than that, because of this dependence of the commodities, especially in exports, we have to think serious too about the industrial policy. And when I talk about industrial policy, I'm talking about something like electing sectors, special sectors, to invest and to stimulate technological innovations. So we have to deal with real problems in Brazil, maybe for the next 10 years or 15 years at least, to combine a good social policy with economic growth. Thank you.